That is the final deposit in settlement of my account.
You are nothing, Gerald Fairley. You are an insignificant man who's had every advantage his whole life. Yet the only way you feel like a winner is to use physical strength for approximately 15 seconds.
After inheriting the family textile mill, Gerald not only achieved absolutely nothing, but also lost the lion's share of their business to competitors. Faced with the family's financial crisis, the incompetent heir made no attempt to salvage the situation. Instead, he turned to gambling as a desperate quick fix to win it all back. Naturally, he only dug himself into a deeper hole. Driven into a corner, he went behind his father's back and mortgaged the entire mill to a mysterious credit company called Hamilton. However, just days after getting his hands on the massive loan, he lost every last penny at the casino, ultimately resorting to secretly begging his younger brother for cash just to get by. The day before the loan was due, Gerald showed up at the address, planning to sweet-talk and stall the company's boss. But the moment he pushed the door open, he was completely dumbfounded. The mastermind behind this mysterious company was none other than Emma Hart, the young maid he had once looked down upon and ruthlessly humiliated. After a brief moment of shock, instead of feeling any dread over his impending doom, Gerald actually let out an amused laugh. In his mind, this whole thing was nothing more than an arrogant former maid playing house. To him, the lower class would always be the lower class. As for the massive debt, he figured he could just walk away scot-free. Emma looked at the man in front of her like he was a clown. The contract was there in black and white, with perfectly legal and compliant interest rates. He could save his breath and take up any complaints with her legal team. A flicker of panic finally crossed Gerald's mind, but stubbornly refusing to admit defeat, he pulled out what he thought was his trump card. Flustered and furious, he resorted to personal attacks, using the most vile language imaginable to relentlessly shame Emma about having a child out of wedlock. He even accused her of planning to eventually bring the kid back to extort his family, convinced that this was a classic scheme used by lower-class trash. Then, intending to show her the consequences of crossing him, he made a physical move on her. Emma shoved him away with all her might and furiously grabbed a fruit knife off the desk. Gerald was a pathetic excuse for a man. The only way he could ever feel a sense of accomplishment, the only way he could feel like he had won, was by using his brute strength for a mere 15 seconds of sick satisfaction.
Boring little tramp.
And as for the money you owe, check your contract. I'm calling in your collateral.
You couldn't.
One signature from me, and it's done. When I sign that paper, every brick of Fairley Mill will belong to me. It's a happy Christmas, Gerald Fairley. From all at Hamilton Equitable and Hart Enterprises.
True to his cowardly nature, the bully instantly backed down and scrambled out of the room with his tail between his legs. It wasn't until she was absolutely sure the man was gone that the tight string keeping Emma together finally snapped. With a sharp clatter, the fruit knife that had just protected her slipped from her trembling fingers and hit the floor. The fear she had been desperately holding back came flooding out all at once like a burst dam.